Welcome back to the channel, YouTube. Hold it down here. We are back in better than ever for another video, and today, as I have a little mini stroke, we're going to be talking about the end of late night TV because I think it is a fascinating topic because I was a man, boy, person, creature that was once addicted to late night TV. Now, obviously, the times have passed me by. Back in the good old days, we used to watch Conan O'Brien on the on-demand channel on Optimum because I couldn't stay up that late to watch the full show. Either way, we're going to talk about it because I think it is a fascinating topic as times are changing in the country, and I just got notice I have been bought out by David Ellison, so this is the end of my YouTube channel. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and it's been a pleasure for the 3 people that have been consistently watching. We'll jump right into it because once again I do think it is a little fascinating because there's a lot of reasonings as to why the Late Show ends later this month, and for those who don't know, it's hosted by the one and only Stephen Colbert, and it wraps up in the month of May if you're seeing this in December, in which case the algorithm, what are you doing? You're confusing me. Did another show get canceled? Now, very quick side note tangent, I can't stand the laziness when it comes to the titles of some shows, because when I was doing a little bit of research, it's 3 minutes of research, but when I was doing research, because I could not get the name of his show correctly for some reason, as you can tell, not a super fan of Stephen Colbert. He's fine. This was not the hill I would die on personally. Like, I wouldn't be like, man, I can't just live life without Stephen Colbert. My life will move on perfectly fine now. I'm sure there's a large aspect of human beings out there like, this guy, my guy, and the fact that he's getting screwed over by CBS, shame, okay? In which case, you do your thing, brother. For me, I'm just gonna play Pokemon Champions, keep it moving. That game has got me hooked. I'm so trash at it, I'm getting cooked, brother. I got into the Ultra Ball ranking. I go like 1 for 6 every time, and it can't get me out of Ultra, because once you tangent alert is that once you get into Ultra Ball ranking, you don't really fall out of Ultra Ball, or if you go into Great Ball, you don't go back down. You're kind of just stuck there. And right now, I have a little 3-game win streak. I got a new team working. We're cooking a little bit here. But hey, there was at one point I think I lost 4 matches in a row, and I thought, man, I think I just need to go ahead and put the controller down because this isn't even fun anymore. I'm getting fried consistently. And some of the games were close, and I thought, you know what? One more game, because, we almost had that. I just got to change a couple of strategy things. There were some games.
Butler pulls up. Missed it badly there. Less than a minute to go.
No.
Oh, my goodness. Valentine.
No.
Whoa,
No.
That is not the shot.
I lost from like the first turn. I'm like, this guy is on crack. He's been playing this game for 30,000 years. He is better than me, okay? You take the win. I don't need it. It's all you, brother. I can go on with this loss. Just put me out of my misery, okay? Because I'm not going to quit. I'm going to make you play through this absolute beatdown that you're putting me on. Back to said point of this video. The late shows, and my annoyance in general, before we get into more the meat and potatoes of this, is the naming of all these shows suck. Whether it's the Late Show, the Late Tonight Show, the Tonight Show, the Late Show, but also not really entirely Late Show. Can we at least mix things up a little bit, like Super Fun Time with Jimmy Fallon or something? Okay, I'm not in consulting, writing, or branding, so don't take my word for it. Maybe you guys got a good thing going. But either way, only a few shows left these days, because you have Fallon, you have Seth Meyers, you got Jimmy Kimmel, Jon Stewart if you count The Daily Show, which to me, The Daily Show isn't really a Tonight Show type of energy, because those other ones feel very corporate and very like, we have to be like tucked in and very professional here. Whereas The Daily Show is like a lot more serious, but a lot funnier. Like, I feel like it is a show that actually emphasizes being funny and not being kind of like a corporate stooge and puppet, which is kind of my issue with a lot of these late night shows right now, is it feels a lot of the hosts, now this is just me talking, all right? You have your right to your own opinion. Do not bully me in the comments. But I think a lot of these hosts, when it comes to late night TV, currently constructed, is that I don't feel to me that they come off as personable. They don't come off as charismatic or engaging. It feels very robotic. It feels very like, this is what we've been doing for 20 years. Let's continue doing it over and over and over again. Oh, you have new movie? New movie do good. New movie do bad. Here's my jokes about politician here. It feels very formulaic, and I think maybe that is the biggest issue when it comes to the state of late night TV, because once again, I grew up loving late night TV. I think my dream job would be to host a Conan show. Oh my God, Conan, icon, hilarious. He knew how to engage an audience. He knew how to be funny. He knew how to be serious in certain aspects, but he also got like sketches within the show that were funny and that were not like forced, and they didn't feel just cringy. To me, a lot of these hosts, especially some of the interviews, nothing really productive is being done from a lot of these interviews, where you don't really learn anything about the artist or the actor. It's kind of just, so you're in a movie, right? Oh yes, here's my already pre-planned story about the movie that I had built into this contract because I have to forcefully tell you this story. Like, I wish there was more free-flowing nature of the interviews and these shows. I think maybe the energy and vibe of these shows would be a lot better, and maybe ratings and things like that would be up, and maybe more people would be more interested in watching the show live if it didn't feel such, this happens here, this happens here, this happens here, this happens here, which is kind of the problem with a lot of media companies right now, is it feels like everything is being corporately structured into how this is how you must talk, this is how you must react, this is where you wait for applause, this is where you wait for reaction, and this is when we go to commercial. And then because we're doing more commercials, you're going to do an ad read here for rainbet.com. You can escape Rainbet. They will find you.
You know what happens now. Now beg for your life in Spanish. What's that? You are crying. Come on, don't cry. Maybe this will motivate you. They broke their streets, so I broke their legs.
So I guess that's kind of my current issue as constructed when it comes to late night TV right now, except for the Daily Show. Because once again, I don't know if I categorize the Daily Show, because it's not obviously on an ABC or an NBC or a Fox or an ABC, all those like main entities of local on-air programming, which I think maybe that probably plays a bigger factor as to why these people are being more formulaic, because they have to follow certain guidelines of the SEC, blah, 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 blah. You get the point. Now, that's why I don't really want to, there's got to be a separation of the four people, right? Because sometimes I think they all loop them together, where it's like, Jon Stewart, he's doing it one day also. He's got the podcast, but it's different. It's a whole different energy and vibe and niche, whereas to these guys, they're more, I guess, mainstream, right? But back to Stephen Colbert, it's ending, right? And a lot of people were frustrated and mad about it because how it was done. And obviously with the merger of every single company under the sun and Paramount and everything just becoming one entity, which, hey, I thought we weren't allowed to do that, all right? I thought there were some strict rules about having monopolies over certain industries. Kind of feels like we're just letting billionaires buy everything. There are no rules in this country anymore. Hey, I would like to offer myself to like anywhere else at this point. Let me get a reroll, okay? Now, listen, there are some great things about this country, blah, 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 so I'll keep living in New Jersey. But I do think, obviously, people were very frustrated with how this entire thing played out, and deservingly so, because it was kind of, felt gross. It felt very misleading. It felt like a lot of people were being very dishonest as to reason as to why this show was ending. But I do understand the certain aspect of the change of late night TV, right? Because late night TV used to be appointment television for a lot of people, because this is where you had your one chance to see said famous celebrity or see famous comedian do a little 5-minute spot or see a music performance, whatever it is. Like, late night TV was the place to be if you wanted to laugh and you want to have a good time. The problem is late night TV, I think, doesn't work in the modern age of society right now, because once again, people will go to you when they want to go to you. No one needs to have appointment anything anymore, especially because there's the instant gratification of just what I want, I'm going to get right now. So if they want to have so-and-so comedian, they want to watch that, they're just going to wait until tomorrow when they wake up, because they don't need to force themselves, because it's going to be available the next day. They're going to be able to just whip out their phone, watch the interview, watch the performance. So there really is no need to have a, I guess, live late night show, right? Because people are gravitating to this content at 3 p.m., noon, 9 a.m. They're watching morning runs on the gym. Like, they will get to your content whenever they need to get to your, or where they want to get into your content, right? So I think that's kind of been the shift where it's just not, there's so many other options, especially for when you have these interviews, right, that you used to look forward to on late night TV with certain actors or musicians, whatever it is in between. These people are doing significantly longer interviews, or they already have a podcast that they're hosting and interviewing other musicians and artists and people like that. So the idea that you want to wait up until 12 o'clock at night to watch the late night show, or whatever said late show acronym thrown at you, with Jimmy Kimmel, bless you Phoenix, that's my cat, a lot of people aren't going to do that, because once again, they've already had 3 hours of endless content on Hot Ones, on the person's other podcast. Now this person's been on Bad Friends, and then he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and then he's with Alex Earl or whoever the other person. There's 2 Alexes, and sometimes I get them confused. I know they're East Coast people, so shout out to the Alexes. We appreciate your service. Shout out to the Blondes. What? Bless you, Phoenix. But I think that is kind of the other issue when it comes to late night TVs, because it used to be exclusive. Like, once again, you had to watch it, and there wasn't an option for a lot of people to record these things. It was just, I watch now, and this is my only shot at watching said person. So now that we live in a digital age where you can watch The Late Show from 5 years ago, from 50 years ago, the first episode to the most recent episode, you can watch any clip, interview, interaction whenever you want. So you don't need to have this appointment thing anymore. And I think that's ultimately been the killer for the late night show genre. And also, I do think the idea of becoming more stiff and corporate has also killed, I think, the liveliness of a late night TV show, which is probably why Conan didn't work too well on NBC, and obviously ended up moving on to TBS, where it felt more freeform, and it felt like he was able to be himself on that show. And obviously after that, he has his podcast and everything like that. But I think ultimately those are the 2 major killers of this. Now, obviously, is there a major political angle about this entire thing? Yes. This very convenient, the timing of CBS paying the Trump peoples millions and millions of dollars for the election stuff and everything like that. Yes. Does this all tie in somehow, some way? Absolutely. Now, there is no way to just avoid that, so that is a preference as to why. But I think from my angle, because I just don't have the time and effort or energy to talk about the political angle, because there's so many other bigger political stories to dive into these days. War with Iran? Listen, this is a fascinating time, and I'm curious to know what happens next, because we've already seen this show end. Old boy from overseas, the lads from overseas, I forgot his name. I don't know what happened to that guy. What was his name? He was a British guy. It's not John Oliver, because John Oliver is HBO. He's still doing his thing. James Corden, the karaoke guy. Where's he been? I thought he signed like a major deal after his show ended. I thought he was going to have like this run, and then it's just like he just vanished. So what are you up to? Him, and you know who else has just completely vanished as well? It's like not even late night TV. This is super obscure, but there is this guy. Had like a mullet, I want to say a mustache, and probably a singular earring. So he's a douchebag like me, but he did have like that aesthetic about him. But his show, he was in a library, and he would do these interviews in a library and just kind of interview people. I used to see his clips all the time, and I liked it. Like, I thought he was funny. I thought the interviews were funny. Now, obviously, would I be able to watch 45 minutes of that, especially just whispering? No, I think I'd get really annoyed about it. But clip-wise, I thought it was really fun and engaging content. I haven't seen that guy at all. Now then, I was like, because I thought about this last night, I YouTube like his name. YouTube mullet guy library show popped up. It did pop up. I will insert it here probably, but he hasn't posted in over a year. So I don't know if he took a break, if he died, in which case that would be a bummer. or if he got into a controversy. If he got into a controversy, I don't agree with what he did. I disowned him, okay? I never liked him. I thought he was a dick. Listen. Anyways, that's, I guess, the evolution of media and where the late night medium stands right now. I think a lot of those late night-esque hosts have found themselves in the podcast landscape. So I think naturally, I think that's probably going to be the shift for a lot of these people, or they become behind the scenes people as well. But I'm curious to know what the future holds for a show like Jimmy Fallon or Seth Meyers or Jimmy Kimmel, because Jimmy Kimmel has kind of been having the back and forth with Trump, and then Seth Meyers, maybe not so as much. And Jimmy Fallon is just a corporate stooge, and he won't say or do anything really. He kind of just exists. He just floats around as the ghost of Jimmy Kimmel, just absorbing terrible interviews and forcefully laughing at terrible jokes.
It's all fun, isn't it? It's all fun and games, actually. So it's fun to formulate those thoughts. But no, the thing is, it's weird. And look, you can.
Shout out to Jimmy Fallon. Listen, that's been the video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to those YouTube things. And I'm curious to know, are you bummed out about the cancellation of this late night show in particular, the end of the Late Show with Stephen Colbert? I keep wanting to say Jimmy Colbert. That is I think, the biggest dagger in the reaction and just the impact of late night shows right now is the idea that I can barely differentiate from any of them, whether it comes from like the names or the hosts of these people. We need to create stars again, okay? We need to create bigger and better, okay? So join me here as the new face of the David Ellison brand at CBS and Paramount. You'll catch me weekdays from 12 to 1 in the morning. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and, I don't know, wipe your ass with toilet paper or a bidet, which I really want to have a bidet. That feels like a flex and feels like a very cleanly booty hole. Anyways, it's the video you get here. Still haven't closed out the video. Come on. Okay, goodbye.
Show me your best LeBron.
Oh, you know, LeBron silencer?